Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to a brand new video. So today's video I'm going to be sharing a few tips that I've learned since owning a Whippet. So I'm sat on the floor next to the star of the show. This is our Whippet Ralph. He'll be 2 in December, but he's rather tired now because we've been on a big walk today. But I just thought I would film this video because the Whippet videos seem to be quite popular and we watched quite a few videos like this before we got him. So we did a lot of research into the breed before we chose the breed we knew we wanted to get. So I have made quite a few Whippet videos already, so I'll make a playlist of those. Maybe I could do like a bit of a series every couple of weeks if you are interested in that. If you do like the video, please give it a big like, and that way I know what to make more of, and I'll just get straight into the tips. So the first thing that you should know about Whippets is that they like to be warm. Whippets get cold really quickly because they only have short fur and they don't have a lot of fat on them. So when you see them in clothes and with like coats and jumpers on, it isn't just like a fashion thing. They do need coats and jumpers, particularly in the winter, because they do feel the cold quite a lot. And if they are cold, you'll see them shaking. So yeah, if you are getting a Whippet, prepare to buy them coats, pajamas, jumpers, all sorts of things to keep them warm. They do like to burrow under blankets. I think this is like similar to dachshunds as well, Whippets, greyhounds, but he loves getting under the duvet. He'll go as far under as possible. He loves getting under blankets. He'll try and get the blanket out of his bed and then we usually put it over the top of him. He's got a blanket on top of him now. He particularly likes beds with high sides so that he can kind of like snuggle and burrow into the side. But often lots of the clothes and jumpers and things that you see in shops for dogs don't fit Whippets or sighthounds. So because of the body shape, they usually need specially fit clothing. So there's a couple of shops that I've bought things for Ralph from on Etsy who specialise in Whippet and greyhound clothing and things like that, because like the chest, like the torso bit is quite big and then obviously the stomach's quite small. So yeah, it's just the shape of them. Generally you'll find like the coats and stuff in Pets at Home don't fit him as well. We've got a nice coat for him that's like all fleecy inside, and that was from a company called Pointy Faces. We got that online and they specialise in like coats and jumpers and things for sighthounds. I can't remember what the name of the company is on Etsy, but I'll leave it down below. But she does like really nice pajamas and all different patterns and things as well. So they're much happier in warm places. If you've got a warm room, lots of blankets for them, anywhere they can get cozy and snuggly. You'll find that they quite like to cuddle up next to you as well, or kind of sit on top of your knee to keep warm. They are also like little hot water bottles, so if you're cold they do keep you really warm, which is great. And if the weather isn't very nice outside, he tends to not want to go out. He tends to take one look and then turn around, especially if it's raining. But he doesn't mind the cold and going on walks as long as he's got a coat or like a fleece on or something. And the second thing I wanted to mention was their exercise requirements. So Whippets in general are quite lazy dogs and can be like couch potatoes. So when we were doing research of different breeds, when we were looking to get a dog, one of the things that attracted us to Whippets was that they just kind of match your energy. So Ralph will be happy to go on a walk for 4 or 5 hours, but he will also be happy to stay on the sofa all day if that's what you're doing. He kind of just matches what you do basically. So he's not super high energy and he's not super low energy or doesn't want to go on walks, if that makes sense. They have these things called zoomies, so he'll get super excited and he can run around a field as fast as anything, just getting all his beans out, but it'll probably only last for about 15-20 minutes max, and then that's him done for the day. He's tired then after that. It's like they get it all out in this short burst and then yeah, he's just ready to sleep for the rest of the day. We do keep him on the lead generally quite a lot because they do have quite a strong prey drive, what Ralph does in particular. So if he sees squirrels, birds, things like that, he tends to just wants to go off and chase them. And although his recall is quite good, if he is fixated on chasing something, he's not coming back until that thing has disappeared. So we tend to just let him off in fields where we either know they're secure or we know there's not much wildlife. But if it's like a woodland area, then we'll always keep him on lead. But we do try it a couple of times a week to let him off and have a good blast. He loves it when you throw a ball as well, so you can chuck a ball for him and he runs after it. He might retrieve it about 10 times and then he gets bored of that and just starts eating the poo or whatever's on the floor. So we have a harness for Ralph rather than a collar. So because Whippets have quite small, like long necks, you can get special collars for them, because if you were walking a Whippet on a normal collar, they can quite easily hurt the necks, or you know, there's not much fat around the neck basically to protect it. Because they are quite prey driven, if they tend to dart off on the lead and it yanks the neck, you have to be quite careful. So we just tend to have a harness just because we prefer that, and then we have a retractable lead so that he can like wander quite far and then we can bring it back in when we need to. But that works well because it's on the harness. So for Whippets you can buy 2 types of collars. One's called a fishtail collar, which is a lot thicker than an average collar, or there's one called a martingale collar, which has like a little mechanism on it that tightens to stop the collar slipping off the neck. But yeah, we've always just preferred a harness. For his walks, we tend to give him a short walk in the morning, about 20 minutes, minutes, half an hour, just so we can have a sniff and have a mooch around, and then we'll take him on a slightly longer one in the evening after work, and then at the weekends we'll tend to go on bigger walks and things. But generally I think a 40-minute walk a day would be fine for a whippet. We just take him out twice a day because they're slightly shorter. But if you can let them off lead, or you've got quite a big garden and you can play fetch, it really just gets the like extra beans out of them, and then they're just like this for most of the day. Ralph loves the beach. That's quite a good place where we can let him off if it's quiet, because if there's loads of dogs he just goes absolutely wild and just wants to play with every dog in sight. So if we go quite early or quite late, generally the beach is really good, or if it's quite like an enclosed beach. And there's also fields that you can pay for. There's one not too far from us which is like £6 for an hour, something like that, and then you know it's obviously a secure field and it's got little fun things in for them to play with. But he's definitely much calmer once he just gets that out of his system. And the third thing I think is quite important to know about whippets is that they are quite sensitive souls. So if you're looking for quite a boisterous, rough and tumble kind of dog, whippets I wouldn't say are the best thing to go for, although he is very boisterous and will like to play and roll around on the floor and be all silly and things. I think with whippets, just like humans, it just depends on the personality as to what they're like. Ralph is super confident and he can just be an absolute nutter. Like, he throws himself in the water, he loves to play and roll around and go crazy, whereas some whippets can be really shy, reserved, generally don't like water. So obviously the personalities do vary a bit, which you'd expect, but I would definitely say rewards-based training is the way to go with whippets. They are sensitive, so they don't do well with like being shouted at. You know, a stern no when he's already looking at me like, oh dear, sorry, what did I do? So long as I have a treat on me, he'll generally do anything that I ask him to. And that was another thing I learned about the breed when we got Ralph. He's actually a lot smarter than I thought he would be. Obviously you Google dogs and it comes up, doesn't it, at the top of the list with like smartest dogs, poodles, border collies, things like that, Labradors, that kind of thing. But he's so clever, he learns tricks really quickly. He is super food driven, so as long as I've got a nice treat, he is super eager to learn, and I only need to show him something a couple of times and he's got it. And they really do form like a really strong bond with their owners. So please always be gentle and kind to doggies because they just want to be loved. But yeah, he loves routine. He knows from morning to evening generally, like, you know, what's going on throughout the day. It's weird how they seem to know like the time. It's probably things that we do and they think, oh, it's time for lunch, or you know, things like that. But yeah, lots of love and praise goes a long way with whippets. They can quite easily gain weight, so it is important for them to maintain a healthy weight and a healthy diet. So we don't give Ralph any like human foods like sausages or anything like that. We do give him like fruits, cheese, certain things that obviously they can eat. So yeah, those are the main points that I'd share with first time owners or anyone looking to get a whippet. If you have any questions at all, I'd be more than happy to answer them in the comments. Oh, he's just lifted his head for the ending. He's like, don't disturb me, Mom, I'm sleeping. I know. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. I'll be back to my cleaning and organising videos next week. But if you do like this kind of thing, I could start a whippet series if you want to know more about living with a whippet, owning a whippet, that kind of thing. Yeah, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on Monday at 7 for a brand new video. Thanks guys, bye!